Welcome to English Stories for Beginners, where simple stories help you improve your English. Before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to English Stories for Beginners. Your support helps us create more interesting stories for your English practice. Today, we are going back more than 2,000 years to ancient Egypt. This is the story of Cleopatra, a young queen who lived in a dangerous world of power, war, and difficult decisions. Many people remember her because of her beauty, but Cleopatra's greatest strength was not her appearance. It was her intelligent mind, her confidence, and her ability to understand people. Before we begin the story, here are 3 useful words you will hear. The first word is ambition. Ambition means a strong desire to achieve something important. The second word is alliance. An alliance is an agreement between people or countries to support each other. The third word is legacy. A legacy is something important that a person leaves behind after their life ends. Listen carefully and try to notice these 3 words during the story. Now, let's begin. Cleopatra was born in Alexandria in the year 69 BCE. Alexandria was one of the most important cities in the ancient world. It was a busy place with ships, markets, temples, schools, and people from many different cultures. Cleopatra grew up inside a royal palace, but her childhood was not peaceful. Her family, the Ptolemy family, had ruled Egypt for many generations. They came from Greek origins, but they controlled the land of Egypt. Inside Cleopatra's family, brothers and sisters often fought against one another for power. A royal palace could be beautiful, but it could also be dangerous. Cleopatra understood this from a young age. She knew that wearing a crown was not enough. A ruler needed knowledge, courage, and loyal supporters. While many royal people allowed advisors to make every decision for them, Cleopatra studied carefully. She learned about politics, religion, science, mathematics, and public speaking. She also learned several languages. Most members of her family spoke Greek, but Cleopatra learned the Egyptian language too. This helped her communicate more closely with the people she ruled. She listened carefully when others spoke. She noticed what people wanted, what they feared, and what they needed. Cleopatra had great ambition. She did not want to live quietly inside a palace. She wanted to become a strong ruler and protect Egypt from its enemies. When Cleopatra was about 18 years old, her father died. Cleopatra became queen, but she did not rule alone. According to her father's plan, she had to share the throne with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. Her brother was still a child. Powerful advisors spoke for him and controlled many of his decisions. At first, Cleopatra tried to rule beside him. However, the relationship soon became difficult. Cleopatra wanted to make her own decisions. Her brother's advisors wanted to control the government. They believed that a young woman would be easy to remove. They were wrong. The advisors turned the palace against Cleopatra. Her name disappeared from some official documents, and her position became increasingly dangerous. Finally, Cleopatra was forced to leave Alexandria. Only a short time earlier, she had been queen. Now she was living away from the palace with a small group of loyal supporters. She had lost her position, her money, and much of her power. However, she had not lost her ambition. Cleopatra did not spend her time feeling sorry for herself. She began planning her return. She gathered supporters and looked for an opportunity. That opportunity arrived when a powerful Roman leader came to Egypt. His name was Julius Caesar. At that time, Rome was becoming stronger across the Mediterranean world. Roman leaders had soldiers, money, and great political influence. Caesar came to Alexandria during a conflict involving Cleopatra's brother. Cleopatra understood that meeting Caesar could change her future. If she could win his support, she might return to the throne. But reaching him was dangerous. Her enemies controlled the palace, and they could arrest her before she spoke to him. According to an old historical story, Cleopatra entered Caesar's room secretly. She may have been carried inside a large cloth bag or a rolled piece of bedding. When the cloth was opened, Cleopatra appeared before Caesar. Whether every detail of this famous story is true or not, the meeting itself was important. Cleopatra did not ask Caesar to help her only because she was a queen. She explained her political situation and showed him that she could be a valuable leader. She spoke with confidence and intelligence. Caesar saw that Cleopatra was young, but she was not weak. She understood Egypt, its people, and its importance to Rome. Cleopatra and Caesar formed an alliance. Caesar supported her claim to the throne, but Cleopatra's brother and his advisors refused to accept this decision. Fighting began in Alexandria. For several months, the city became a dangerous battlefield. Soldiers fought in the streets and near the palace. In the end, Cleopatra's brother was defeated and died while trying to escape. Cleopatra returned to power. She was queen again, but her life was still closely connected to Rome. Cleopatra and Caesar became personally close. They had a son named Caesarion, which meant Little Caesar. Cleopatra hoped her son would have an important future. Perhaps she imagined that he could connect the powerful worlds of Egypt and Rome. Later, Cleopatra traveled to Rome with Caesarion. She lived in a villa near the city and met important Roman people. Her presence created great interest. Some Romans admired her intelligence and royal confidence. Others did not trust her. They feared that Cleopatra had too much influence over Caesar. Caesar himself was becoming more powerful. Some Roman senators believed he wanted to rule like a king. In 44 BCE, a group of senators attacked and killed Caesar. The news shocked Rome. For Cleopatra, Caesar's death was both a personal loss and a political disaster. Her strongest Roman ally was gone. She understood that she was no longer safe in Rome, so she returned to Egypt with her son. Back in Alexandria, Cleopatra focused on protecting her kingdom. She managed the government, supported trade, and prepared for new dangers. She knew Rome would continue to affect Egypt's future. After Caesar's death, several Roman leaders fought for control. Two of the most powerful were Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, and Mark Antony, an experienced Roman general. Mark Antony controlled Rome's eastern lands. He needed money and supplies for his military plans. Egypt was rich, and Cleopatra controlled important resources. Antony ordered Cleopatra to meet him in the city of Tarsus. Cleopatra knew that this meeting was another important moment. She did not arrive like a frightened ruler asking for help. She arrived on a magnificent ship with rich decorations, music, perfume, and royal servants. People gathered beside the river to watch her arrival. Cleopatra understood the power of presentation. She wanted Antony to see Egypt as wealthy, confident, and impossible to ignore. Mark Antony was impressed. Like Caesar before him, Antony discovered that Cleopatra was not only charming, she was also an experienced political leader. The two began another alliance. Their relationship soon became personal as well as political. Antony spent time in Alexandria, where he experienced the wealth and culture of Cleopatra's court. Cleopatra and Antony had 3 children together. For several years, they appeared powerful. Cleopatra supported Antony with money, ships, and supplies. Antony helped Cleopatra strengthen her position in the region. Together, they dreamed of building a larger and more powerful world for their children. But their alliance created a dangerous enemy. Octavian wanted complete control of Rome. He presented Antony as a man who had forgotten his Roman responsibilities. He described Cleopatra as a foreign queen who wanted to control Roman power. These messages were politically useful. They made many Romans afraid of Cleopatra. The conflict became more serious. Finally, Octavian declared war. In 31 BCE, the forces of Antony and Cleopatra met Octavian's forces near Actium on the western coast of Greece. It was one of the most important naval battles in ancient history. Hundreds of ships moved across the sea. Soldiers prepared their weapons while commanders shouted orders. Cleopatra had brought Egyptian ships to support Antony. During the battle, Cleopatra's ships left the fighting area. Historians still discuss why this happened. Perhaps the plan was to escape with important ships and treasure. Perhaps the battle had already become impossible to win. When Cleopatra sailed away, Antony followed her. The remaining forces lost the battle. This defeat changed everything. Cleopatra and Antony returned to Egypt, but Octavian continued moving toward them. Their supporters began leaving. Their military strength became weaker. The future they had imagined was disappearing. Antony tried to fight again, but many soldiers no longer trusted that he could win. Then Antony received incorrect news that Cleopatra was dead. He believed he had lost the woman he loved and the kingdom they had tried to build. In despair, Antony injured himself with his own sword. Before he died, he learned that Cleopatra was still alive. His servants carried him to the place where she was staying. Antony died near Cleopatra. Cleopatra was now alone. Octavian entered Alexandria and took control. He wanted to take Cleopatra back to Rome. There, she could be shown to the Roman people as a defeated enemy. For Cleopatra, this would have been a final humiliation. She had spent her life presenting herself as a queen. She refused to become part of Octavian's victory celebration. Cleopatra died in 30 BCE. The exact method of her death is still uncertain. The most famous story says that she used the bite of a poisonous snake. However, historians cannot prove exactly what happened. After her death, Egypt became part of the Roman world. Cleopatra's son Caesarion was also killed because Octavian did not want a possible competitor connected to Julius Caesar. Cleopatra's dream of creating a powerful future for her family ended, but her legacy did not disappear. For more than 2,000 years, people have continued to talk about her. Writers created plays about her, artists painted her, filmmakers told different versions of her life. Unfortunately, many stories focused only on her beauty and her romantic relationships. Cleopatra was much more than that. She ruled Egypt for about 20 years during one of the most dangerous periods in its history. She learned languages, understood international politics, controlled a complex government, and negotiated with the most powerful Roman leaders of her time. She did not win every battle. She made risky decisions, and some of her plans failed. But she continued to act when her situation looked impossible. When she lost her throne, she found a way to return. When her alliance with Caesar ended, she continued ruling. When Rome threatened Egypt, she searched for another path. Cleopatra's life teaches us that intelligence and preparation can sometimes be more powerful than physical strength. It also teaches us that ambition alone is not enough. Every decision has consequences, and even powerful people cannot control everything. True, Cleopatra could influence Caesar and Antony, but she could not stop the political changes happening inside Rome. Her story did not have a happy ending, but it had a lasting impact. Now let's review the 3 words from today's story. The first word was ambition. Ambition means a strong desire to achieve something important. Cleopatra had the ambition to become a powerful queen and protect Egypt. The second word was alliance. An alliance is an agreement between people or countries to support each other. Cleopatra formed an alliance with Julius Caesar and later with Mark Antony. The third word was legacy. A legacy is something important that a person leaves behind after their life ends. Cleopatra's legacy includes her reputation as an intelligent, confident, and powerful ruler. Now answer these 3 questions. Why did Cleopatra have to leave Alexandria when she was a young queen? How did her alliances with Caesar and Mark Antony help her? Why did Octavian see Cleopatra as a threat? Write your answers in the comments. Before you leave, please like this video and subscribe to English Stories for Beginners. Listen to the story again to practice your English, repeat the new vocabulary, and share in the comments what you learned from Cleopatra's life. Thank you for listening, and keep improving your English one story at a time.